There's a real sense of movement around the New York Yankees right now, even if the surface looks calm and frustrating for a lot of fans. The offseason has felt quiet, almost too quiet, especially for a franchise that usually makes noise early. No major league additions from outside the organization, no splashy announcements, and no immediate signs of a dramatic shift. But behind the scenes, the Yankees are clearly positioning themselves, and the focus has started to narrow in a very specific direction that could end up reshaping the infield and the entire offensive identity of this team. The front office has been far from inactive, despite the lack of official signings. Trade conversations have intensified, internal evaluations are ongoing, and there is a clear recognition that the roster, as currently constructed, has flaws that cannot be ignored. The infield is at the center of that discussion. Shortstop and third base remain areas of concern, not only defensively but also in terms of offensive balance. The Yankees have leaned heavily on power for years, and while that approach can overwhelm opponents on certain nights, it has also exposed a recurring weakness when contact, on-base ability, and speed are required to change the rhythm of a game. What makes this moment particularly interesting is the growing belief that a trade, rather than free agency, is the most realistic path forward. Free agency across the league has moved slowly, and the Yankees, like many teams, are being cautious. That caution, however, does not mean passivity. It means precision. The organization appears determined to solve multiple problems with one move, and that has led them to explore scenarios that include moving significant pieces if the return truly fits their long-term vision. One of the names that continues to circulate in these discussions is Nico Hoerner. And the more you look at the Yankees' needs, the more his profile seems to line up almost perfectly. The Yankees have been searching for a true leadoff presence, someone who can set the tone at the top of the order without relying solely on power. They need a player who can get on base consistently, avoid strikeouts, and apply pressure with speed. That type of player has been missing, and it has forced the lineup to operate in a way that often feels one-dimensional. Hoerner brings a very different dynamic. He is not a slugger, and that is exactly why he stands out. His value comes from contact, discipline, and intelligence on the bases. A batting average near 300 is not common in today's game, especially from a middle infielder who also provides elite defense. He does not chase pitches, he rarely swings and misses, and he keeps at bats alive. Over the course of a season, that skill set changes how opposing pitchers approach an entire lineup. Defensively, Hoerner offers stability that the Yankees have been trying to find. His range is among the best in baseball, and his instincts allow him to turn difficult plays into routine outs. Whether it's second base or shortstop, he brings consistency, and that consistency matters over 162 games. The Yankees have experimented with different alignments, trying to make things work, but the results have been uneven. Adding a defender of Hoerner's caliber would immediately raise the floor of the infield. There's also the broader roster puzzle to consider. The Yankees have players who can shift positions, but those shifts only make sense if the defensive quality improves overall. Hoerner gives them flexibility without sacrificing performance. He has proven he can handle shortstop at a high level, and he has been even more effective at second base. That versatility allows the Yankees to evaluate other pieces more honestly, rather than forcing players into roles that do not maximize their strengths. Offensively, the impact goes beyond individual statistics. A true leadoff hitter changes the flow of games, getting on base early, forcing pitchers to work from the stretch, creating opportunities for the heart of the order. All of that adds up. The Yankees already have power threats who can drive in runs, but those threats become far more dangerous when there's traffic on the bases. Hoerner's speed and base running intelligence amplify that effect, turning singles into scoring chances and defensive mistakes into extra bases. Another key factor is how well this type of player complements the rest of the lineup. The Yankees do not need another all-or-nothing bat. They need balance. They need someone who can grind out at-bats, foul off tough pitches, and keep innings alive. Hoerner's approach at the plate fits that description perfectly. His low strikeout rate is not just a number. It reflects an approach that frustrates pitchers and wears them down over time. From a strategic standpoint, this is the kind of move that signals a shift in philosophy without abandoning what the Yankees already do well. Power will always be part of their identity, but adding a player like Hoerner shows an understanding that championships are won with complete teams. Defense, contact, speed, and situational awareness are just as important as home runs, especially in postseason baseball where margins are thin. The trade aspect makes this even more compelling. Hoerner is under contract, which gives the Yankees cost certainty and control. That matters in an era where long-term payroll flexibility is crucial. The Cubs, on the other hand, have reasons to listen. They have depth, they have needs in other areas, and they could be open to rebalancing their roster. That creates an opportunity for the Yankees to strike if they are willing to part with the right combination of players. What stands out is how many of the Yankees' long-standing issues could be addressed with one calculated move. Improved defense up the middle, a reliable leadoff hitter, better base running, and a lineup that forces opposing teams to defend every inch of the field. These are not small upgrades. They are foundational changes that influence how the team plays every night. There is still uncertainty, of course. Trades are complex, and nothing is guaranteed until it happens. But the direction is becoming clearer. The Yankees are not just looking to add talent. They're looking to redefine balance. They want a roster that can win in different ways, not just by overpowering opponents, but by outthinking and outlasting them. A player like Nico Hoerner represents that vision, and the fact that his name continues to surface tells you that this is more than idle speculation. When you dig deeper into how this potential move fits the Yankees' bigger picture, it becomes even clearer why the internal conversations feel more serious now than at any point earlier in the offseason. This is not just about filling a hole on the depth chart. It is about correcting patterns that have shown up year after year, especially when games slow down and every at-bat carries weight. Too often, the Yankees have found themselves relying on a long ball while struggling to manufacture runs, and that imbalance has been exposed against elite pitching. Adding a player with Hoerner's profile would immediately force a recalibration of how opponents prepare for New York. Pitchers would no longer be able to attack the top of the order with the expectation of quick strikeouts or harmless contact. Instead, they would face extended plate appearances, stolen base threats, and constant pressure to execute perfectly. Over a full season, that kind of stress compounds, and it benefits the hitters who follow. Power bats become more dangerous when pitchers are already working harder from the opening inning. There is also a psychological element that should not be overlooked. Players who bring energy through defense and base running can shift momentum without ever swinging for the fences. A diving stop, a perfectly timed steal, or taking an extra base on a routine single can ignite a dugout just as much as a home run. The Yankees have had stretches where that spark was missing, where the offense felt static and predictable. A catalyst at the top of the lineup changes that tone on a nightly basis. From the organizational standpoint, this kind of trade would reflect a willingness to be proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting for internal solutions to develop or hoping that existing players suddenly transform their approach, the Yankees would be choosing to address a need directly. That does not mean abandoning player development, but it does mean acknowledging that certain skills are difficult to teach. Elite contact ability, plate discipline, and defensive instincts are traits that often define a player early in his career. Hoerner has consistently shown those traits at the highest level. Another important layer is durability and reliability. Availability matters, especially for a team that has dealt with its share of injuries. A player who can be penciled into the lineup day after day provides stability that managers crave. It allows roles to be defined more clearly and reduces the constant shuffling that can disrupt chemistry. When a middle infielder plays steady defense and delivers consistent at-bats, it creates a ripple effect across the roster. Financially, this approach also aligns with long-term planning. Trades for controlled players allow teams to avoid the volatility of the open market while maintaining flexibility for future moves. The Yankees have to think not only about the upcoming season, but about the seasons that follow. Allocating resources wisely now opens doors later, whether that means retaining core players or pursuing other targeted upgrades when the timing is right. There is, of course, the question of cost. Any meaningful trade requires sacrifice, and that reality cannot be ignored. The Yankees would need to evaluate which assets they are willing to move and how those decisions affect both the present and the future. But the calculation changes when the return solves multiple problems at once. Giving up depth or potential becomes more justifiable when the incoming player addresses defense, offense, and lineup structure simultaneously. What also stands out is how seamlessly this type of player could adapt to the expectations that come with wearing Yankees uniform. Not every skill set translates smoothly to that environment, but a game built on fundamentals tends to age well under pressure. Making contact, playing clean defense, and running the bases intelligently are universal values. They do not slump in the same way power can, and they often become even more valuable in high-leverage situations. The Yankees' recent history has shown that small margins often decide their biggest games. A missed opportunity here, a defensive lapse there, an inning that fizzles out because of strikeouts. Addressing those margins requires more than just talent. It requires the right type of talent. Horner represents a profile that directly targets those fine lines, turning weaknesses into strengths through consistency rather than flash. As these discussions continue to evolve, the anticipation around a decisive move grows stronger. Fans may not see daily headlines or dramatic announcements, but that does not mean nothing is happening. On the contrary, this is the kind of period where franchises define their direction quietly, laying the groundwork for moves that can alter the trajectory of a season. The Yankees appear to be at that crossroads, weighing options that go beyond short-term excitement. The idea of reshaping the top of the lineup, stabilizing the infield, and injecting a different offensive rhythm is not just appealing, it feels necessary. Whether this specific scenario comes to fruition or not, the logic behind it reveals a clear understanding of where the team has fallen short. And if the Yankees choose to act on that understanding, the ripple effects would be felt from the first inning of the season onward, changing how this team competes, how it is defended against, and how it responds when games tighten and every detail matters. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Whispers are echoing through the Bronx, and they are growing louder by the hour. According to growing chatter around the league, Juan Soto could be on a path back to the Yankees, not as just another star name, but as the unquestioned centerpiece of the offense. While nothing has been confirmed, the rumor alone has been enough to ignite imaginations inside and outside the clubhouse. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Yankees front office has been quietly exploring scenarios that would place Soto at the heart of the batting order, giving him both symbolic and tactical leadership. The idea being floated is simple but bold. Build the attack around Soto's patience, power, and ability to change games with a single swing. In this vision, Soto wouldn't merely complement the lineup, he would define it. Executives around baseball believe the Yankees see Soto as a cultural fit as much as a statistical one. His calm presence, advanced approach at the plate, and confidence in big moments align with what the franchise values when shaping its identity. Insiders say the organization believes his return could bring balance to an offense that has often relied too heavily on streaks rather than sustained pressure. There's also talk of how Soto's influence could ripple through the roster. Younger hitters might benefit from his routines and preparation, while veterans could find more protection in the lineup, forcing opposing pitchers into uncomfortable decisions. Even defensively, the speculation includes adjustments designed to keep Soto comfortable and focused on his primary mission, producing runs. Contract numbers, potential trade frameworks, and long-term implications remain guarded secrets, fueling even more speculation. What seems clear, however, is that the Yankees are being linked once again to a player many believe was never meant to feel temporary in pinstripes. If the rumors materialize, Soto's return would not be about nostalgia, but about authority, a statement that the offense has a new, undisputed leader. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.